Welcome to Intuitive Seek. My name is Mary Treen. I aim to bring you a grounded approach to all things intuition. Through personal stories, experiences, and practices, offering energetic reflections to help you discover, connect, and fully realize how your unique power of intuition is your own greatest teacher. Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome back. I am welcoming myself back. I have missed you. If this is the first time you're listening, then welcome. But if you are a regular, semi-regular listener of Intuitive Seek, thank you for your patience. I came down with such a horrible illness. I got so sick for the first half of June, and it was probably the most sick I've been in 15 years, maybe 20 years. And it was a real experience. I lost my voice for days, couldn't speak at all. And that was hard because so many things that I do require a lot of my voice. It's a big part of my work, of my podcast, of my creative projects. Oh my goodness, so many things. My meditation teaching. Yeah, so it was an experience, but I really learned a lot. As you can imagine, having so much time, not being able to do anything. And yeah, I'm sure I will share more and more the more I kind of have the clarity and understand all of the things that I experienced. But yes, I really had to take care of my energy and of myself in new ways. And for the first time in my solo career of my healing and intuitive business, I had to reschedule my client sessions. I had to reschedule my spoon bending workshop. Oh my goodness, I was so disappointed. But it all worked out so beautifully. And I was hoping to come back to the podcast last week, but because I had come back to my work, to my clients last week, I really had to maintain my energy. And I didn't have the extra energy to record. And I had to really trust that and follow that, because that was one of the big lessons that I learned, was my capacity and my bandwidth, which we talked about and have talked about many times. Taking care of our energy, knowing what our bandwidth is, how much we can expend before it becomes like a detriment to our system. And yeah, I learned new levels of that. So yes, I really moved back into my life and my work slowly. And last Saturday was the rescheduled date for my intuitive spoon bending workshop, learning the art of intuitive spoon bending. And the one lovely thing was, because I had to reschedule it for 2 weeks later than the original date, I had more people that were able to join. Some people weren't able to join live, but most people. But we did have a nice intimate group live on the Saturday, and it was so much fun and such a beautiful learning experience about our heart energy, our highest expression of ourself, the depth of our power and the power of intention. And everyone on the live call were able to bend the spoon. And a few people bent it after our workshop. Because if you watch the workshop, if you did get the replay, you understand that one of the lessons you can learn from it is patience, trusting the timing, and not pushing, really honoring the act of surrender after you have set the goal, done the work for it, and then you really release it. And that's the biggest act of trust is releasing. And we saw that so deeply reflected in the spoon bending. So it was really amazing. So much fun. And maybe we'll do it again, but yes, if you missed it and you really wish you could have experienced it, you can message me. I'll put a little link in the show notes and I will send you a link where you can purchase it. And then I'll send you access to watch the replay. But yes, thank you to everyone who purchased a ticket, joined, everyone who was able to join live, and everyone who's watching the replay. Maybe even today you're watching it as you're listening to this. Maybe you just watched it. But yes, thank you so much. And a special thank you to every client that I had that had their session rescheduled. Thank you for your understanding. I appreciate you so much. And we're in the end of June now, only about 9 days left. And yes, I will be coming back with July energy impressions, the full episode that I love so much. And that was the strange thing too, because I had been doing the energy impression episodes since November 2021. And I had never missed one, which is amazing. I was shocked, actually. And then I looked again and I saw, oh, wait, I did miss one. It was March 2022 because my beloved Bobo, my cat Bo, passed away on the 2nd. And yeah, I was in way too much depth of that deep loss to provide any energy impression. But in 2.5 years, I've only missed two. And I was pretty impressed by that because to me, that really shows how much I love to bring these to you. And I know that many of you love them too, and that they really help you to remember and receive more clarity about your own intuition. And yeah, so that was a really lovely reminder to see the commitment that I have to them and that I don't do them in a very rare case, basically when I cannot. And in June, I had no voice. And in March 2022, I had no life force for it because it was all in grief and healing. So I hope even by me sharing this, maybe you can be a little bit more gentle and less judgmental on yourself when there are things that you really want to do, but then circumstances get in the way where that just isn't how it's going to work out. And you have to be flexible and adaptable and learn how to surrender. And you have to be flexible and adaptable and learn new ways of surrendering and just releasing your attachment to how you expected things to go, releasing those expectations. But I'm very excited to get back to July full energy impressions. But I did have an inspiration. And even though I've been very busy with my work last week and this week, so thankfully, it's just not being able to do it and then coming back and then being quite busy with my work, with my healing sessions and my intuitive work. Wow, it showed me how much I enjoy what I do and what I'm able and allowed and asked to offer to people, and how much supporting beautiful souls with the work that I do, how much I love it. And I'm just so, so honored to be able to do it. But I did have the inspiration for a mini energy impression episode, an end of June energy impression, to offer you insight, guidance, to help you get more clarity around what you need to remember as we move through the last week of June, and to really allow yourself to create more space for the new month that is coming. And especially because this is the last week of the 6th month of the year. We just had the solstice marking that 6 months, summer in the northern hemisphere, winter in the southern, and it's a great time to reflect on how the first part of the year treated you, what you learned, what you discovered, what you were ready to let go, what you are ready to move into, what you desire for the next 6 months. A great check-in point. So with these end of June energy impressions, I went into a nice deep meditation with the intention to receive insight and guidance through inspiration, through animal energy, and through that beautiful energetic insight that I really appreciate. And so I hope you will appreciate it as well. So, yes, with these energy impressions, even a mini one like today with the end of June, and as with all energy impressions, any intuitive guidance that I offer, take what you need and leave the rest. Really trust your own inner guidance, your own intuition to know what resonates. Trust yourself over all else. But I hope that these help you remember some things that you needed to. So, the first thing I really felt during my meditation was introspection. That this end of June, this time, this energy we're all moving through, that for some of us, it is a time where we need to put some space on our schedules to look within. And I was shown a beautiful spiral in the earth that was kind of carved out of the earth that you could walk down and around, and similar to kind of those Celtic labyrinths. And those are created for such beautiful, for many reasons, but one of the reason is to help you have more clear knowing and spiritual introspection. So even if you are a more visual person, if you do like to visualize, kind of think and visualize during your own meditation practice, you may want to picture a spiral in the earth, in the beautiful, grassy space, and that you're walking around that spiral, getting closer and closer to the middle, and really feel what that is offering you. What is it highlighting? What is kind of bubbling up as you give yourself this space to walk the spiral to your inner guidance, to your inner world, to that inner universe landscape that you have? Because it really felt like it was showing the difference between spiraling out and spiraling in. And when we don't make that time for introspection, when we don't take that time to walk that spiral figuratively, that's when we can become more predisposed to spiraling out. That's when we can, completely stretch out our bandwidth and get burnt out. So for the end of June, how can you make that space to become very curious about what's happening within? What do you need to know? And another piece of that energy really felt like it was highlighting to ask ourselves, how have we changed? And what has not changed with us? And that can be over the last 6 months or more recently. But really making that space to recognize what is truly not you anymore or not your life anymore. And maybe that is like a habit or a project or a person, a relationship, a job. It could be those bigger things, but it could be small things too that we do out of habit, but that we don't really want to do. So connecting to how you have changed. And if it helps to look back over the 6 months to see the changes that you have been moving through, that can help you understand what has not changed with you. And then it becomes easier to move with yourself rather than worrying about what you're leaving out or not doing. It helps you trust yourself more because I know that so many of us have changed deeply, deeply over the last year, over the last 6 months. So for the end of June, looking at that, allowing yourself to be introspective, inspecting inside. What's happening? What's going on within? And that feels like it will really help us set us up for really prepare us for this July, this big month. And I haven't done the energy impressions for July yet. I'll do that closer to the beginning of the month. But it feels already like a big month. Whenever I feel a call to move within, that feels like a preparation for expansion, for things to be moving out, expanding our horizons. And then the animal in my meditation for the end of June was the skunk. The skunk is always surprising, but I love it because just the way it acts in nature, its black and white tone, so many things about it is so inspiring and can help deeply with that introspection that I was speaking about. So the skunk right away reminds me of our whole selves, of our shadow and the light, the white and the dark, moving through both, honoring both, balance, harmony. But it also felt like a lot of attention on bringing more attention to our fear. Because most people, when they see a skunk, it's immediately, you do not want to be sprayed with that scent that is almost impossible to remove, right? So there's a fear immediately, but then they only spray when they're fearful. So it's this doubling up, this accumulation of fear. And that felt like a really big message of pay attention to when there is fear running through your body, helping you make decisions when it shouldn't be, when you need to have some breath coming back to your body, connecting to your solar plexus and feeling, why is this fear coming up? And maybe it's not fear. Maybe it's actually your power and your life force that is asking for you to pay attention, that is bringing up this feeling of fear, but it's not. And it has been falsely seen and felt as fear. Just like with the skunk, it's false fear because there's nothing really scary happening. It's the what if. And then the what if of that creates fear in the skunk. And then the skunk sprays out of the fear of him maybe spraying. So it's like the self-fulfilling prophecy of that fear. So for the end of June, if we connect to and really pay attention to when we're feeling fear, and then we look at that and we see, wait, maybe this isn't fear. Maybe this is a part of me that is asking for some action, that wants to be seen, that feels unfamiliar because I haven't made the space to shine my light like this before. And maybe there is a little bit of fear in being seen, but maybe the feeling, the overarching feeling, is actually that fullness of your unique power, of your light. And that also feels like a call to, if you have not kind of connected with your solar plexus lately, you may need some more attention there. And I do have the solar plexus Reiki meditation where you can receive the Reiki healing in it. I have a system where I'm able to hold it in the recording. So you can go on my insight timer, and I believe it's on my podcast feed too. So either way, but if that resonates with you, a great thing to do maybe a few times before July to really help support that beautiful solar plexus energy that you have, to make it more available to your whole system so you can utilize it to help you with what is to come in July. And more about the skunk, I love it so much. So also really showing a lot of symbolism around and highlighting our feelings of self-esteem and confidence, of our self-respect. But because of the fear that is often placed on skunks, it also feels like a call to recognizing where maybe you're feeling a bit misunderstood. And for some of us, maybe that's even misunderstanding ourselves. And that can go back to not recognizing how much we've changed. So for the end of June, how can you feel and showcase to yourself that you are more self-assured than you thought you were? How can you assert yourself more? How can you be fearless? How can you be fearless? And with the scent of the skunk, because people are so afraid of that scent being sprayed on them, to me, that really felt like a call to recognize what it feels like to not be afraid, to get more familiar with that. Do you know what it feels like to not be afraid? And that could be the self-assured, assertive, confident respect within. And also, that scent of the skunk reminded me and felt like a beautiful symbol for how we impact those around us, how our unique scent, our unique energy affects and impacts the world around us. Do you know? Do you know when you're attracting people? And do you know when you're repelling them? That might be something that will really help you as you move through the next month and the next half of the year. That can help you understand yourself more, which feels like a really important piece of the energy that we're moving through right now. Deep understanding within, spiraling into understanding. And the one thing about the skunk is that it moves at its own speed, with its own mind. It is very self-assured. So how can you reflect that in your own life, your own rhythm? And maybe that connects to more of what has changed too. Maybe you've noticed that you've been going on someone else's rhythm, or a rhythm you thought you should be moving at, a pace that you thought was expected of you, but is not really natural to you. How can you allow yourself to move at your own speed, especially over the next 6 months? And then the white stripe of the skunk, in my meditation, when I was really seeing the skunk, I saw that white stripe as like a lightning bolt of inspiration. So this feels like for some of us, there is a call to honor and respect our inspirations. And that some of us may be refusing to even recognize this inspiration that is for us. Often that can be called like refusing the call. So is there anyone, which one of us is really refusing that lightning bolt of inspiration that may have already hit us, or that is kind of slowly coming into our awareness? And then when we really recognize it, then it hits us. Can you respect that inspiration? Because it's not just for you. When you get those kind of fast, clear lightning bolts of inspiration to do something, to see someone, to say something, to start something, those are not only for you. I really feel that it's always in service of the greatest good. So yes, the end of June really feels like that preparation for the next half of the year, helping us recognize how deeply we've changed, helping us see what is not for us anymore, maybe a dream or desire that we need to say goodbye to help us make room for what we're meant to do. Maybe making room for that inspiration that we are not so open to receiving because we're not feeling as self-assured. We're not respecting ourselves as much. Maybe we're misunderstanding ourselves. But by spiraling in, getting that introspective space for yourself, making that space for yourself, that's where you will find the wisdom that you seek. That's where you will see how much you've changed and why. And maybe that will help you honor the change and all of these changes in new ways. Maybe it will help you become fearless. Maybe it will help you remember what fearless really feels like in your body. And maybe as you are spiraling inward, getting introspective, making that space, I wanted to offer some soul questions, journal prompts, even you can answer in a voice note. But these may help you become more introspective to make that space. If it does feel a bit daunting to walk that spiral within. So, one question that you could answer would be, what dream or desire of yours is not for you anymore? And then the second question you could answer would be, do you know the lightning bolt of inspiration that you have been refusing to receive? What is it? What is it? And then number three, how do you misunderstand yourself? And then try to detail an example. And then how does that help you to understand yourself better and in a deeper way? And then number four, over the last 6 months, how have you changed? And what has not changed with you? That could be a habit, a friend, like I said, like a project, a job, a relationship, something smaller, but that is still taking up a lot of your time. Over the last 6 months, how have you changed? And what has not changed with you? And for all of these questions, this is a practice to trust the first thing that comes, the first thing that crosses your mind, even if it doesn't fully make sense. So thank you. Thank you so much for listening, for allowing me to share these end of June energy impressions with you. And I would love to hear if you resonated with any of the energy that I shared, that I am feeling, that we're moving through for the end of June. And if you have any thoughts or questions ever, please do not hesitate to send me a message. I love to hear from you. You can send me a message through my website, treenlight.com, or through my Instagram at treenlight.healing. And of course, if you are curious about working with me, you can go to the show notes and click on the link to explore all of the ways that I can support you and your energy. And always hugely appreciated if you follow or subscribe to Intuitive Seek wherever you get your podcasts. And if you feel called to give some support and help other people find this show, then I would be very grateful if you shared maybe this episode with a friend, or you could leave a review. I appreciate your support so much. So thank you again. Be kind to yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.
Hi, Auntie Mary. I just wanted to say something